Persistent rumours that she's not a mum and never has been. Just when the difficult Duchess wanted all the talk of her fake baby bumps to fade away, along came a so-called friend to turbocharge the conspiracy theories. Now the trolls have gone into overdrive with their firm belief that non-mother Meg was never pregnant, and the childless Sussexes continue to subject the world to an extraordinary hoax.
Royal silence just met its match. A self-described ghost mum says she carried Archie, and she's done keeping the secret. Forget palace protocol. This is hush money, NDAs, and a truth that could scorch the Sussex brand for good. 4 years after Archie's picture-perfect debut, the woman who says she actually carried him finally tore up her NDA. In a 2-minute smartphone video posted at dawn, she shows her face just long enough to prove she's real, then pans to a stack of what looked like wire transfer slips dated May 2019. One figure jumps off the screen, $625,000. Final installment. She identifies herself only as DL, a 33-year-old Colorado fitness instructor who claims Meghan's lawyers flew her to London twice for prenatal scans under a false name. According to DL, the deal was simple: carry the baby, sign permanent silence, disappear. She says she kept her end until the Sussexes allegedly ghosted her over a final promise of postnatal medical coverage. That break, she insists, freed her conscience and her voice. DL isn't pitching a memoir, booking morning shows, or hiding behind legalese. She filmed the clip in what looks like a bare apartment. No ring light, no PR polish, just a tired-sounding woman reading a one-page statement. She claims to have already turned her originals, contract drafts, ultrasound labels matching Archie's birthday, to a UK tabloid for authentication. And yet, one line needed no decoding. Silence bought is silence borrowed. DL ends the video there, staring down the lens for a heartbeat before the screen goes black, leaving just enough space for the internet to set itself on fire. But the clues she brandishes aren't the first cracks in this story, because Archie's paperwork has been whispering questions ever since the ink dried. Archie's very first document was already whispering secret. 11 days after the Sussexes registered his UK birth certificate, palace clerks filed an official correction. Meghan's given names, Rachel, Meghan, vanished, replaced by the regal mouthful, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. Royal mums from Diana to Kate keep their full names on record, so the wipeout looked less like tradition and more like deliberate fog. Even Harry's line was tweaked the same day, adding the word Prince as if the first draft needed extra insulation. Why does a swap name matter? Because UK law treats the birth register as a parentage anchor. Remove a name and you weaken the legal breadcrumb trail to maternity. Compare that to Prince Louis's 2018 document. Catherine Elizabeth appears in full occupation, listed as Princess of the United Kingdom. Nothing hidden, nothing hurried. When Meghan stripped her own identity down to a title, seasoned royal watchers smelled lawyers' ink, not royal protocol. Fast forward 2 years and 5,000 miles. Lilibet's California certificate should have been straightforward, a US form that demands each parent's full legal name. Instead, the line reads, first name, the Duke of Sussex, surname, His Royal Highness. No Henry, Charles, Albert, David in sight. In America, that kind of title swap would derail a passport application, yet the paperwork sailed through. Another sign, critics argue, that lawyers prearranged a loophole no ordinary couple could finesse. The pattern is too symmetrical to ignore. One child's record erases the mother's legal identity, the other blurs the father's. Add the Colorado rumor, the only US state that lets intended parents appear on a birth certificate before delivery via a pre-birth order, and suddenly the mismatched ink looks less like sloppiness and more like strategy. Taken alone, each tweak is a curiosity. Stacked together, they feel like the Sussexes built a paper maze around their children's origins, easy to sign, hard to trace. And those puzzling signatures lead straight to the next breadcrumb. The hospitals that say they never saw Meghan walk through their doors. Officially, the Sussex press office said Meghan went into labour at dawn on May 6, 2019, was rushed to the private Portland hospital in London, and delivered Archie a few hours later. Unofficially, the timeline never made sense. Frogmore Cottage staff reported no ambulance lights, no inbound medical team, and Windsor security logs list no vehicle departure during the pre-dawn window Harry later described in interviews. Portland employees now add a sharper edge. Two nurses who worked the maternity floor that day told an independent podcaster they were sworn to silence, but never laid eyes on the Duchess and saw no royal security sweep, no VIP protocols activated, procedures that are standard whenever a senior royal gives birth. The only Sussex on record that morning appears to have been Harry himself, photographed by a passerby around 11 a.m. leaving the hospital's rear car park. No car seat, no nursing staff, just the Duke in jeans and a ball cap. The sighting hit Twitter, disappeared within minutes, then resurfaced in screen grabs on Reddit, where users noticed the timestamp landed before the official palace statement that Meghan had even gone into labour. Critics argue the photo looks more like a pickup than a drop-off, feeding a theory that Archie arrived earlier, perhaps days earlier, in a different facility altogether. One Facebook post quoting a private palace insider claims Portland's admissions ledger for May 6 shows a blank line where Meghan's alias should have appeared, a gap the source says is impossible to miss. Fast forward to June 4, 2021, when Sussex social channels released a softly lit video of Meghan in a boho chic birth suite, swaying to pop music minutes before Lilibet's arrival. The clip was meant to feel intimate. Instead, viewers saw glaring omissions. California hospitals were still under strict pandemic lockdown, mandatory masks, one visitor cap, no photographers. But the room shows no PPE, no IV poles, no fetal monitor cords snaking out of view. Medical TikTokers stitched the footage, pointing out that the wall sconces and wood-panelled accent wall match a luxury birthing centre in Ojai that, per county records, had no deliveries logged that weekend. Meanwhile, Aspen gossip blogs tracked Harry to a downtown cafe just 48 hours earlier, the same cafe now alleged to be near the Aspen Valley Hospital, where a June 2nd gestational carrier delivery was recorded. Even the paperwork refuses to settle. Portland Hospital still declines to confirm Meghan's admission, citing patient confidentiality, yet its press office quietly notes that no royal obstetric team booked theatre space during the first week of May 2019, an anomaly given that every Windsor birth from William to Louis required a full surgical team on standby. And in California, the only birth document the Sussexes have ever shown for Lilibet is the preliminary certificate of live birth, the one issued by hospitals, not the state, the final, state-sealed certificate that would list the exact facility and attending physician, never released. Taken together, the missing ambulance ride, the phantom hospital sweep, the Instagram perfect suite with zero pandemic gear, each detail on its own might pass as clerical oversight or celebrity privilege. Stacked side by side, they feel like set pieces in a stage play, designed to look real from the street, but hollow once you push on the door, and that door swings straight into Colorado, where surrogacy law can erase a birth mother's name before the ink even dries, creating the perfect legal ghost story for a royal couple who insist their children arrived exactly as they've claimed. Enter Colorado, the state that turns surrogacy into paperwork magic. Its courts sign pre-birth orders, naming intended parents on the certificate the moment a baby takes its first breath. That means the woman who does the pushing is erased before she leaves recovery, no amendment required. Reddit sleuths traced a June 2021 delivery in Aspen that fits the surrogate's timeline down to the hour Harry was photographed buying coffee 2 streets away. The fast, clean anonymity aligns too neatly with DL's wire transfer receipts to shrug off. And because Colorado law doesn't care whose DNA builds the embryo, it leaves room for donor sperm, donor eggs, or any mix the parents choose. Another layer of plausible deniability for a couple who guard their narrative like crown jewels. Silence has always been Meghan and Harry's panic button, except they usually slam it after unleashing a lawsuit or a primetime sit-down. This time, nothing. Their reps ignore calls. Archwell's website stays frozen on feel-good philanthropy blurbs, and the usually litigious couple hasn't fired off a single cease and desist. PR insiders read that as a hostage negotiation with their own NDAs. If they acknowledge DL, they validate her existence and risk blowing the legal seal. So, they let the internet burn, hoping the next news cycle scrolls past. But every hour without a rebuttal feels like silent confirmation, and the palace playbook never prepared them for a scandal that thrives on the very vacuum they're creating. Behind the curtain, constitutional lawyers are running nightmare scenarios. If Archie or Lilibet entered the world via undisclosed surrogacy, their places in the line of succession could be challenged in the UK, and challenged brutally, because Parliament has no appetite for half-truth heirs. heirs. Across the Atlantic, the stakes get thornier. Harry's missing legal name on Lilibet's California certificate could strip him of parental rights in a US courtroom. Imagine a custody dispute where a duke discovers he's a legal stranger to his own daughter. Exactly the kind of courtroom circus tabloids salivate over. For the monarchy, muddy bloodlines aren't just gossip, they're constitutional headaches that could ricochet through centuries of precedent. Online, the verdict has already reached a roar. Corporate partners who once rushed to slap the Sussex halo on their brands now draft quiet contingency clauses. Netflix executives, still waiting on a blockbuster follow-up, are privately weighing just how toxic the Sussex well might become if hush money headlines stick. Meanwhile, Meghan defenders call the uproar misogynistic, pointing out every billionaire who's used a surrogate without scandal. Detractors counter that it was never about surrogacy. It's the secrecy, the curated victimhood, the paper trail that doesn't line up. When royalty collides with Hollywood branding, the story is never just a birth announcement. It's a PR chess match played on a global board. Maybe DL is a grifter chasing clout. Maybe Meghan and Harry did exactly what millions of couples do and simply wanted privacy. Or maybe the silence really was bought and the bill is finally coming due. Either way, the fairytale glow around the Sussexes has dimmed, and every unanswered question now flickers like a warning light on the monarchy's dashboard. So where does that leave us? Waiting for a statement, for a lawsuit, for proof that turns whispers into fact. Until then, one thing is certain: silence may bury a secret, but it never kills it. It only drags it into the next headline, louder than before. Stay tuned.